Hey guys, the war is going great, isn't it? 4.5 months into a 3-day operation. That guy is truly Putin's great student, right? That's not even the worst part. I predict that there will be a bigger war if the Republicans win the midterm election. It's a typical textbook case of principal agent problems. When a hired manager incurs a huge loss on the company due to a risky investment, what's he gonna do? Well, one way to keep his job is to engage in even riskier behavior. I'm gonna be fired anyway, so why not just try something even bigger, and maybe there's a small chance to recover the loss. Very typical moral hazard. You might say, well, Trump only has 2.5 years left. What's the point? That's not what he thinks. He doesn't have that same time frame in mind. All the mid-cycle gerrymandering, all the attempts to disenfranchise women who had name changes, and all the dozens of election data lawsuits. This is not the behavior of someone who plans to quit quietly in 2 years. He needs something so big, not only big enough to cancel off embarrassment in Iran, but also big enough to overrule the term limit. Haven't you noticed that after being quiet about Greenland for a few months, he's picking up the topic again? And yesterday, he posted a photo of himself with some European leaders, and the background was a supposed US map that includes Canada and Greenland. He basically ambushed the Europeans by showing that map and then posted it online so that he can claim that the Europeans are endorsing his potential annexations. Like, are you serious? Again, this is not the behavior of someone who's prepared to leave. Annexing the territories of two traditional allies in the last stretch of his career, nobody does that. Putin didn't invade Ukraine because he was ready to retire. No, he invaded so that he could stay longer. In Trump's mind, any scenario where he had to hand over the presidential power to someone else is simply unacceptable. Without the constant attention, without the heavy makeup and hairdo, he would just wither away like a fucking fish jerky. He has to stay in power to stay alive. Remember, this is a guy without real friends. You might think Lindsey Graham was tied with him, right? But here's what he said about Lindsey's death.
Well, and his father died just about at the same age from, I'm a believer in the racehorse theory. If you have problems, you have problems. And he had some problems that were a little bit deep-seated and not easy to find.
A racehorse? I thought that dude was your friend. Donald is a guy who does not understand equal relationships. Everyone is either his minion or his enemy. There's no middle ground. So he cannot allow any human being, not even a Republican, to become the president and receive more attention than he does. His mental world would fall apart. It's already shaky right now, but without the attention, his mind would collapse overnight. Between 2020 and 2024, he wasn't president, but at least he was still the leader of the Republican Party. If he quits after 2028, he would be nothing. He doesn't have anyone to keep his company, so he will be in the mental equivalent of solitary confinement. Elon Musk has the same problem. They have to stay in the news cycle because that's the only way for them to acquire any human interactions at all. So here's the next steps I think he will take. First, try every dirty tactic to win the midterm election. And second, acquire the congressional approval for the budget of another war, or at least the threat of another war. And third, annex another country's territory and pump adrenaline into the knuckleheads across America. And last, suspend the Constitution and cancel future elections. I know it will be a long shot, but it is what he has in mind. So if you have a couple hours to spare this November, please do humanity a favor and vote. This is no time to fuck around.